Choosing the BJJ for a national sport in the Emirates has far greater cost than just doing some sports. It changes mindsets.
His Highness started Jiu-Jitsu with their kids, with their sons, and he started to see changes in their attitude and their behavior. Then he asked to present this game to other sons, to his sons. The United Arab Emirates kids. And UAE JJ noticed that from following the school programs, they noticed that Jiu-Jitsu are changing their mentally. They are working as a teamwork. They are making friends, and they are changing to better person.
عشت تجربة أشبه بالحلم. البداية كان لها طعم آخر مع أول حركة في ساحة التدريب. أصبحت إنساناً آخر يعرف قيمة نفسه. أصبحت بطلاً حقيقياً، وثقتي بنفسي ليس لها حدود. نقلتني من محيط عائلتي الصغيرة إلى أسرة كبيرة. منها تعرفت على أخلاقيات ترتقي بالنفس إلى أعلى مراتب الاحترام. منها أستمد قوتي، وبها ترتفع معنوياتي إلى عنان السماء. جوجيتسو جعلتني في أعلى درجات التركيز والقدرة على الدفاع عن النفس. نعم، هي تجربة صقلت مهاراتي وعلمتني أنه لا شيء يسمى مستحيل. جوجيتسو لها مذاق آخر يمنحك القدرة على قراءة المستقبل والتوازن في الحياة.
A few days later, we were invited by the United Arab Emirates Jiu-Jitsu Federation to film the biggest school tournament around here. We are the first foreign crew to ever do that, so I'm really honored. But what touched me even more is what I saw there. This was one of the most intense and emotional kids tournaments I have ever watched.
We're lucky that our people is changing to better, and they have a new style of life. This game, it gives you multiple choices. It's not only you have to fight or you have to compete in competition. You can use it in other ways. So give it a try, give it a chance, and who knows, maybe we'll see you a champion. And we're still working for the Olympic. We want to have Jiu-Jitsu in the Olympic for the soon future. And this will be good for the game. It will be good for our kids to compete over there. And I think this is a very good target for the next 10 years, inshallah. Jiu-Jitsu, it's everything. It's everything. My biggest achievement is that I'm a good example to other people. This is life. You live to be good, or you live to be a good for somebody else. Medals cannot make that. Even if you are a good fighter or a good player, if you don't have the good attitude, if you don't have a good relationship with the people, medals will not make you a good example. Jiu-Jitsu changed me and make me a good person, and I'm lucky that I'm the way I am.
I have never ever imagined that Jiu-Jitsu can be such a big thing in a Muslim country. Just a few hundred kilometers from here is Saudi Arabia, where women are treated as an object and just an add-on to man's life. And here, these brave girls are fighting furious for medals without insulting their traditions. I have to admit that the life in the Emirates is a strange hybrid between the traditional Muslim values and the mindset of the modern Western life. Let me be clear, I'm a believer. I'm an Orthodox Christian and have God with us tattooed on me. Also, I'm from a country that was occupied and destroyed by the Ottomans for 500 years, so I'm kind of sensitive when it comes to Islam, but this place gives me nothing but a feeling of peace. This is the Sheikh Zayed's mosque in Abu Dhabi. It's 15 minutes by car from the hall that the biggest jiu-jitsu events happen here. The Sheikh's body lies here. The guy wanted to build a mosque that unites, not separates, so he ordered materials from 16 countries as a symbol of it. Most of them are not Muslim countries. This is not a museum, it's a working mosque, and sometimes it gathers over 40,000 worshippers here. It's a beautiful place, and I really like how they defend its spirituality. Few years ago, the security asked Rihanna to leave the place when they decided she is making an inappropriate photo shoot in front of the mosque. Well, I guess my selfie for the best jiu-jitsu magazine in the world, Jiu-Jitsu Style, was okay for them because they didn't say a word. So now, we're on our way to a place that I'm really looking for. The Old Fort in Al Ain, a little town in the middle of the desert, where tonight Dimitrius and some of my new black belt friends will make a final training before the Abu Dhabi Open tomorrow morning.
This is Al Zahili Fort. It's close to downtown in Al Ain, and it is the old residence of Sheikh Zayed. Sheikh Zayed is the founder of UAE. He died 10 years ago, and now his son is running the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, and in general is running the whole country. Dubai is more the touristic center of the country. People don't know, think Dubai is the center, but no, Abu Dhabi has the wealth and the power.
And why was he living in Al Ain?
Yeah, because back in the days, until 1960s or 1963, I think, there were different tribes that were fighting each other, and this tribe was located here in Al Ain. It's called Al Nahyan. It's the ruling family of Abu Dhabi. And then when Sheikh Zayed decided to unify the Emirates, all the families together, all the tribes, he moved from Al Ain to Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi has a port, it's an island, it's close to the sea, so it's more easy for trade and more easy to communicate with the outside world. Here is in the middle of the desert. But still, Al Ain is supposed to be the most local place in UAE, the highest percentage of locals compared with expat population. Do you have the feeling that this building is built like this to provide more space for the air to move around, so it's more cold, Mikhail?
I don't know, but for sure it's colder than outside.
Yeah, I think I don't know, it's my impression that they actually knew what they were doing when they were building. That's why they have these holes on the wall, and that's why they have the windows positioned like this. Even there at the underpass, they have holes on the wall. So I think the air would circulate and cool the place, like a natural air condition.
Few minutes from the fort is the animal market of Al Ain, which we decide to visit because it's on our way to the hall where we'll train tonight. This is one of the places here where you can buy yourself a falcon. The bird is the symbol of the Emirates and of course of its Jiu-Jitsu Federation. The locals don't hunt with falcons anymore, but every year they make this big event where their birds are chasing drones. And talking about chasing, this huge thing tried to kiss Dimitrius several times, and of course it's a male.
Just ask the guy here that is working here why this camel is by itself here in the center and looks different, and he said it's for reproduction. This camel is like alpha male, and has to stay away from the female for obvious reasons. and it's super big. It's maybe, I don't know, 2.5, 3 meters the top. If lift the head up, maybe 4 meters. Super big.
It's getting dark and we are on our way to the other side of a lane where the football stadium is. And football stadiums are the most common places to train jiu-jitsu in the Emirates. Somehow the both sports go in a package here.
Every football club in UAE, or almost every football club, has a jiu-jitsu, let's say, department. And there are coaches that are sent by the federation or by the company to teach jiu-jitsu to the locals or train amongst them. So this is the Align chapter of Align FC chapter.
So maybe the football fans that follow the football club also follow the jiu-jitsu club
for sure, and probably many of them come to train because they want to have advantage over other hooligans. You know, when they fight, maybe choke faster and go attack someone else.
Jiu-jitsu hooligans.
Jiu-jitsu hooligans.
Entering the hall, I'm very pleased to see that one of the biggest stars around here, the most famous European black belt Alexander Trans, is in the house tonight. The guy is destroying our crazy friend Karol. Trans is teaching in an elementary school and he seems to like it here.
In Denmark I was teaching jiu-jitsu and working as a bouncer as well, and in the weekends. And then when I went to Brazil, a lot of times I would sleep in with some friends' houses and stuff like that, you know. And I lived with my parents back in Denmark. But then I met my wife, and I got married, you know. And when you have then you get another responsibility, you know. It's difficult. I can't just sleep on my friend's couch when I have a wife, you know. So that's something that's difficult about being European, because if I was American or Brazilian, then I could teach in an academy and still have good training. But my problem in Denmark was, the guys are great there, my friends from training, but for me to compete at the highest level, it's difficult for me just to train in Denmark. So if I opened an academy in Denmark and trained, then I would not have the quality of training that I would need to achieve my goals. So I like it here. I have good training, a lot of good training partners.
Like 400 black belts.
Yeah.
I'm starting to understand why teaching in the Emirates is good not only for the students but also for the black belts. They have secured an everyday job with fixed payment and every evening have access to the biggest training camp in the world, a masterclass with another 350 black belts and champions from all over the world. It seems Trans found the right direction in his life, but it was not always like that.
When I was in my teens, I had no clue what I wanted to do in my life. I didn't know I want to be a police officer, I want to be a doctor. I had no idea. And that created some frustrations, you know, and to not have a goal, you know. But when I started to dedicate myself in jiu-jitsu and started doing well in competitions, then it just felt natural, you know. And now I'm 100% sure that I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. I wanna keep competing, and then one day I wanna open an academy, have my own students, you know. So.
Alexander is one of the guys that trains several hours every single day, so I assume that he'll win everything in tomorrow's competition. But I'm a little bit surprised to find out that he is not coming at all. Unlike many other champions I know, he's not hungry to get every single gold medal on his way.
Martial arts is a lot more than just the sport. The sport is an aspect of it, of the art. The important things that you take from it is not the medal from the competition. So of course it's a goal for me to dedicate myself to be a champion, but if I don't think that I will have failed if I dedicate myself as much as I can, I train as much as I can, and I don't achieve it in my career and I retire. Then it's not like I will feel like the rest of my life I didn't fulfill it, because I did my best, you know, and I enjoyed my training. But of course it's a goal, I think, for all competitors. Now I was third place 2 times and second place 1 time in World Championship. So of course that's a title that I would love to have that, you know. But it's not like I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm just trying to train and enjoy like the way, because it's not like I'm unhappy. Let's say I'm unhappy now, and I'm only like suffering, and I'm not happy until I get my world championship medal. But what is the guarantee that I'm gonna be a happy person if I get a medal? You know? So you have to enjoy the journey. You know?
It's almost 10 o'clock and maybe we should go to bed because tomorrow is a fight day. Nah, not us. Along with our good friend, ex-Bellator fighter and an American top team black belt, Sam the Big Chocolate McCoy, we decide to go to the hills outside of Elaine, where we'll skate for a while. This is how we roll.
I think you guys got some balls, man, because I don't think, like, I would like to travel and go, like, to all the places you guys go to train, but I'm too homesick, man. I want to go back home. I don't think I could do it. I can go to the different countries. I'd be crying, I'd be curled up. Like, I remember I see the episode you guys were on the boat. That'd be me, like, crying in the corner.
Don't be fooled by his words. This man is a true beast.
Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, introducing Sam Big Chocolate McCoy.
Sam will probably win it all tomorrow morning in Abu Dhabi, but not before a good midnight nomad skate session in the mountains.
We're gonna go to Jello feet here. Usually I just use the GPS because I get really bad motion sickness, so by the time we get up halfway the mountain I'll probably throw up.
Nice.
The way I roll.
Good for telling us.
Well, I throw up in my mouth, you know, because nutritious.
Even
nutritious.
Even better telling us.
It's yeah.
So we do it later, man.
That's the thing, I'll save it. It keeps me full. So we start going.
Just like Alexander Trans, Sam is teaching Jiu-Jitsu in an elementary school here. Along with being a BJJ professor and an MMA fighter, he's also a writer and had published a book about traveling in Jiu-Jitsu. But before his sports career, he was a police officer. Yep, Big Chocolate, the BJJ cop.
I was a cop for 9 years, and you know, it was good, man. It was a good job. I got to help people, and sometimes it was tough, but for the most part, it was a really good job. And then when I left the police department, I did a little bodyguarding, and I started working primarily for Lil Wayne. And the guy is really cool. He's a cool guy. He's quiet. He's not what people think. You know, like, he skates a lot. He has his own skate park in Miami, and it's a good job, you know. And I work with a good group of guys. 1 week you could be a Lil Wayne, the next week you'd be working for Justin Bieber. But you know, being a cop was different.
Have you ever armbarred some criminal?
Yeah, actually, yeah. The good thing about jiu-jitsu and being a cop was you could control people instead of, you know, you see a lot of videos of cops punching people and stuff like that, and I can't even comment on whether that's right or wrong because I'm not in their particular situation. I just found that jiu-jitsu a lot better, helped me, because especially when you're fighting professionally, that's one thing that attorneys can use in court. Oh, well, this guy's a professional fighter. Why did you hurt my client? Or why did you do that? And you kind of, you know, you realize that with jiu-jitsu, you don't have to punch or make them bleed, break an arm. You can control them until your other help comes, and then you can subdue the guy or lady, whoever. You know, in 9 years of being a cop, I've never used my taser once.
That's the parking lot, right? Or
yeah, this is one of the parking lots. We can go a little bit higher though, because there's one that's a bit more steeper, a little bit more steep.
Maybe
or we can go this way.
I think maybe better here because we're talking with a white belt.
Yeah, we can go this way.
White
too.
belt in skating.
In skating? Oh man, then I'm like a yellow. But I'm gonna, like, you fake it till you make it, man. I do that when I was
fake it and you make it and you crash on the wall and you break your
That's
feet.
it. But then you can tell everybody you've been in a fight.
Let's skate.
Yeah.
You want to see a nice crash on camera?
Of course, man.
My memory's gonna need a whiskey and forward. I want my seat, my body nothing. It's a woman that for men who's in another way. That goes up a man, I dug my skin. And I try to ask somebody that better to escape. Forwards forward, and he was on the wall. I believe in my skate and I fuck the rest. The sun is shining, and I'm the happiest. We have a meeting today, we must get it the best.
Our friend Sam just received his third stripe, white belt third stripe in
Living by the geese,
In
skateboard
living by the
surfing.
geese skateboard surfing.
That's the way I roll, man. BJJ, nomad for life. Son!
What? Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hello guys, we're here on our way to Abu Dhabi, the capital of UAE. It's not very hot as people would think, lots of desert as you can see. And Abu Dhabi is famous in fighting society for Abu Dhabi Combat Club. We're gonna go compete because yeah, BJJ nomad lifestyle is cool, but if you don't compete,
you fucked up a long time ago.
this guy never competes behind the camera.
True story.
True story.
Never competing, never losing.
He competed once and he edited everything twice. He edited everything and it was like he competed for 20 different fights. Anyway, I'm going to compete in a local tournament. It's called Abu Dhabi Jiu-Jitsu Cup 2015. It's a local event, but with 500 black belts living here and so many locals practicing the sport, it's gonna be quite tough competition. I'm gonna do the no-gi today, so let's see how it goes. And if I make weight, because I'm fat, we party a bit. So now I need to go run for 2 hours.
This is FGB Arena, the most important place for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the Middle East. Every big event in the region is held here, and the locals are really serious about it. You can watch every single tournament on the television, even the kids ones. The federation is investing in Jiu-Jitsu big time, and the sport is everywhere. Newspapers, magazines, billboards, malls. That's very nice, but if he wants to see his face in some other media than BJJ Nomad, Dimitrios has to find a way to cut 2 kilos for the next 70 minutes, unless he wants to be just a spectator. The Greek should really had left all the cake for me last night.
I'm ready to run now. I think this will be the best shot of the episode of the documentary because it's simple. You cannot see my face. So, see you later, guys.
You look like terrorist now.
Of course, the security came to check why the hell someone runs dressed like that. But it was okay. They recognized us from the kids tournament 2 days ago. My friend lost the weight he needed, but it cost him a lot of energy, and it would be hard for him because from what I saw there, the people were coming very dedicated not only from the Persian Gulf, but also from the Muslim ex-Soviet republics and even China.
This is very important. Blue, go behind the camera and there for the right side. Red, enter from the left side.
Come and get it.
These guys were on a mission. The main rivals of the locals were the tough fighters from the ex-Soviet republics. Some of them told me that it was way cheaper to travel and compete here than anywhere in Europe. Many of the guys had strong sambo and wrestling background, which made the fight very entertaining collisions between the pure jiu-jitsu and the old-school forged strength of the ex-Russians. In some moment, the local reporters started acting like crazy, leaving their stuff and running to see something at the end of the hall. No one had noticed that a member of the royal families around here had competed incognito and won a medal. He was totally legit. I had watched one of his games against some Turkmenistan or Tajikistan guy. The shape was not shining with some crazy skills, but hey, have you ever seen a politician in your country doing any other sport except speed stealing? Yeah, I thought so. Now it's time for Dimitrios' final fight. It was for the 3rd place, and meanwhile Sam was resting, with his first silver medal waiting for the Advanced Open Division final. BJJ Nomad crew was solid today. Dimitrios outplayed his opponent big time and won his bronze. Meanwhile, Sam was winning on points over a guy who already had 2 medals at the tournament today, doing huge heel hooks to everyone. Here we are, 2 medals for our crew at this event.
That's BJJ Nomad.
But as Alexander Trans said, medals are not what makes you happy in BJJ. And what would really make me happy now is a visit to the place where everything we saw today began. The original hall that held the first ever ADCC challenge and where a student of Rickson Gracie and Jean-Jacques Machado, Roberto Atala, is teaching nowadays. Let's go!
Straight from my heart for you, my friend. This song is for you.
This song is for you.
We are still in Abu Dhabi, and in a few minutes we'll meet a friend of mine who had a huge role in the growing of the Jiu-Jitsu in the Emirates. His name is Lubo, and he is also the co-founder of the first BJJ club in Bulgaria, my team, Real Pain. He has been living here for years, and his journey in the gentle art started in the magical place we are going to, the original Abu Dhabi Combat Club venue.
Maybe it's him, I don't know.
He goes away.
Nowadays, Lubo is among the most respected people in the martial arts scene in the region, but 18 years ago, he was just another guy coming to this building to watch the curious new tournament called Abu Dhabi Combat Club.
In '98, this venue here was the home of the first ADCC tournament, which was quite interesting, an event, you know, that I had the chance to see.
Many big names took part in this event.
Only when they mean something to you, man. My first memories was that I didn't realize why these guys are lying on the floor and not punching each other, because I was still young. I didn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. For a person who didn't understand the sport, it was not very interesting. I started a conversation with a boxing guy in the audience. We found the boxing more interesting in that time.
So you're involved with this organization since the scratch, since the beginning, right?
Since the very first beginning, yeah. So more precisely, in '98 I was a spectator. A couple of months later I started training, and on the event in '99 I was already part of the referees team. I was involved in designing the tournament rules, because they were still young, still developing. It took us probably 4 to 5 years to come up with the current rules that were fair for wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys, sambo, judo.
Lubo was in charge when the jiu-jitsu program started here. Now he is responsible for the BJJ training in the military, and he is the head guy of the biggest mixed martial arts promotion in the Middle East, Abu Dhabi Warriors. The funny thing is that when he returned to Bulgaria, there were no coaches there, so he stayed blue belt for 10 years, which might be a world record for a 5 times a week fighter. Now he is black belt, and everyone in the sports world in the Emirates knows his name. Everything started here, 18 years ago.
As you see the venue right now, it used to be an indoor horse riding arena. You know, the one when they jump over hoops and stuff. And so back in '98, it was my first life experience of a tournament in general, because I was not an athlete. The most interesting part was a week to 2 before the event. Famous names would come here to train, to prepare. Jean-Jacques Machado, Royler Gracie, Rickson Gracie, Mark Kerr, Saulo Ribeiro, Leborio, all these huge, massive names, Zemario. These were guys that I met, and obviously they took me as one of the referees and a nice skinny beginner. And many of them liked to warm up with me because I was of no threat of injury or releasing some of their secrets, because I obviously didn't understand the sport that well.
Through the years, Abu Dhabi Combat Club became the biggest and most respected grappling tournament in the world, having branches everywhere you can think of. I was blessed and honored to be the official videographer of the European trials 2 years ago, and witness how this organization pushes the evolution of the grappling all over the globe. But its greatest victory is where we are at now, and Lubo is one of the guys that worked really hard to make it happen.
In 2000, 2, I was promoted to the manager of this building. I was the manager of the Abu Dhabi Combat Club. When my job became promoting that sport, I can tell you that nobody knew what Jiu-Jitsu is. They couldn't pronounce it. And for that matter, not only Jiu-Jitsu, but other fighting sports too. You know, they've heard of WWE, but that was pretty much it. In that time, it was really difficult to convince people why they should train. Why is martial arts good? Why precisely Jiu-Jitsu, or why Judo, why wrestling? And if you have to compare this with what Jiu-Jitsu has become today after the support of their highnesses, of the leaders, it has progressed so much that now I'm surprised to enter a store, a grocery store, or a shopping mall, and the salespeople would recognize the broken ear, and they know it's Jiu-Jitsu. So there is already an image built around this sport. It has become part of the national culture. We have thousands of kids training, thousands of soldiers training. We have events every month. You know, it took the Western world decades to develop it on such a level. And thanks to our leaders here and the support we receive, it's just become part of the daily life. You read about Jiu-Jitsu in the newspapers. 3 years ago, we had 200 kids competing on an event. Currently, we have to cut the numbers to 1,000 and leave many kids that cannot compete, although they desire to compete. So it has blossomed, it has progressed, and that's why I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, Jiu-Jitsu will be part of their culture.
Tomorrow we'll be back in Abu Dhabi. Roberto Ottawa, a 4th-degree black belt and head coach of Rio Grappling Club. But after a tough competition and a nice interview today, we're ready for some party and head to Dubai, the most popular place in the Emirates. Meanwhile, we receive a voice message from Ottawa, who saw on Facebook that we gave one of our signature rash guards to Alexander Trans.
Better bring me rash guard. If not, man, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass. Black brick motherfucker.
It's damn hot outside, so most of the interesting stuff here is indoors. It's around 30 degrees Celsius, and someone recommends us to cool down a little bit and visit the ski slope inside the mall. Wait, what?
Minus 4 degrees.
Minus 4?
Minus 4.
And you were like, hey, I'm going with the shorts, no problem, man.
Because we're in a bit of a hurry, I ran in and I said, no problem, for a few minutes I'm gonna go with the shorts to check it out.
23,000 square meters indoor ski area inside the mall, in the middle of the desert. It's been working for 10 years now, and it's absolutely insane. It really feels like you're somewhere high in the European mountains.
BJJ Nomad. We're not in the Alps, we're not in Colorado. We are in
Alps or Colorado.
Pretty close, the guy still hasn't read geography. We're in Dubai. Pretty ridiculous what this guy's built here. It's pretty ridiculous what this guy's building here with this project also.
There is sand on the Balkans. This will happen when there is a snow in the desert. You use it for something that will never happen. I guess whoever came up with this idea have never been to Dubai. We make a test ride and we love it, except the fact that they have real penguins captured to entertain the kids here.
Come on, man, real penguins?
I find this a real sign of a bad taste.
Imagine, folks, a penguin that stands 2 meters tall and can weigh over 150 kilograms.
Using animals for entertainment was always something we've been against, so we decide to leave immediately and go to a more animal-friendly place. This is Dubai's Autodrome. one of the 3 places in the world when you can drive a Formula 1 car by yourself, and our guide will not miss this chance.
You surrendered already.
No money?
Give us the money.
He's got the money.
Arabs are crazy about any racing sports. Motorballs, cars, falcons, horses, you name it, they have it here. Actually, I bet that UAE is the place with the most sports cars per person in the world, and you cannot expect anything else from the region that supplies the whole world with oil. Dimitrios will try the formula for a few rounds and I hope he will survive, because we were joking the whole briefing where they explained how to drive this machine.
It is a Nomad. New experience now.
I hope new, not last experience.
Driving the Formula seems really fun, and I really regret that only one of us got the chance to try it, but we don't have a time for a second round, because tonight we decided to play casual tourist and booked a desert safari, something that will beat by far every Formula 1 or snow slope in the world.
Last one to finish. How was that?
It was interesting and loud. It took me maybe 2-3 laps to get adjusted. These cars are, I think, 200 horsepower, but still, you can, when you press the acceleration, you feel it, you know. I tried to overtake some guys, but then the officials here came and sat me down. Hey, what are you doing? No overtaking, so I had to relax, you know.
Black belt.
Black belt, man. Black belt in driving. No ego, nothing. Only dedication.
I don't have enough words to describe the desert safari we had. It was surreal. This Pakistani driver almost killed us at least 5 times trying to impress the Chinese couple on the back seat. But worse than death is when you're dying in the middle of the desert listening to disco mixed local music on a maximum volume for 30 minutes.
What?
So we entered the base camp with relief.
It was going crazy. Music. This video, man. Nani nani na 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 na. We should finish soon with this shot because I'm getting cold here.
I'm not sure what we expect to see here, but what we find out is that in the next 2 hours we'll have to hear more disco mixed local music along with dervish dancers who are spinning themselves till we get sick. It's too late to realize this is not our place, because we cannot go back. The car will leave in 2 hours when the dancing show ends. Damn!
Vai. Aperta pouquinho, papai, até ele bater, papai. Pode apertar. Mas, papai. Põe, papai, papai.
This was shot when Grandmaster Helio was 95 years old.
Você dá aquele tranco.
The voice behind the camera belongs to the UFC legend Royce Gracie.
Faixa preta de jiu-jitsu também, papai.
The guy who is constantly smiling while being choked is Roberto Atala. His nickname is Rizada, the laughing one, because he is always smiling no matter what. The smile is again on his face the whole morning while he is teaching local guys at the Abu Dhabi Combat Club original venue.
Slow on, don't fight like crazy. I live by the gi, I live for the gi, I live in my gi most of the time. When I was 19, I found jiu-jitsu.
At that time, I didn't know how much big Jiu-Jitsu would be all over the world. So I had no idea how many opportunities I would have from Jiu-Jitsu. So I was heavily criticized by my family, by friends, to drop off the university and decide to follow Jiu-Jitsu. But it was a call. It was something like, I felt like doing that. I never regretted.
レスリングのフォルじゃないですけども、動きづらいんですよ。なるほどね。
Roberto is a very interesting guy. In one moment he can tell you the spiciest dirty joke, and in the next something that you can think of for weeks. He speaks 5 languages, been world champion twice and European once, and trained under Jean-Jacques Machado and Rickson Gracie. But the reason we are here is because Dimitrios wanted me to meet the man that inspired him to become a traveler and a BJJ nomad with just a few sentences a decade ago.
Back in the days, I remember that conversation we had in Greece. And now you travel more than me, man. And I'm proud that I could give you this advice and you don't regret that. But I don't want to give anybody advice because I'm a master in Jiu-Jitsu, but I don't believe in a master of life, really. Some guys want to tell you what to eat, what you should drink or not. It's your life. You must decide what you want. Do you want to get married early? Do you want to have kids? Is that your mission in life? You want to have a conservative job, 9 to 5, it's up to you, man. But if you follow your dream, if that's your dream to travel, to teach Jiu-Jitsu or to teach other martial arts, do you believe that you can do it? You should go for it, because like whenever we choose a path in life, we cannot go back and change it again. Life has no replay. So if you have regrets, when you get to an older age, you're gonna be a grumpy person. And you must be happy about your achievements. So I think it's up to each individual to decide what they want to do. That's why I don't want to influence anybody. I didn't want to influence you. I told you my opinion, what I wanted for my own life. You know, it's the same in the competition also. In a competition, I don't want to tell my students, pass the guard, do this, do that, or I'm going to create robots. I want people to think on themselves. No, so a black belt approach for me, I don't consider myself a black belt, to be honest. I think I'm a white belt because I'm always learning. Every day I learn something new. And I came to this country to teach, but I also came to this country to learn. I think there's a lot of things to learn here, not only in the Jiu-Jitsu project, but everyday life in many aspects. And I'm glad I'm here for this moment. It's something that's gonna add something to my life. Let me go crazy with him, with this guy now.
Why crazy?
Because you imagine.
Yeah.
Let Jiu-Jitsu be everything, and let everything be Jiu-Jitsu. I think this is my philosophy for Jiu-Jitsu, you know? Jiu-Jitsu, I think about Jiu-Jitsu, I don't think about it, but I'm doing Jiu-Jitsu even when I'm walking across the street. I don't believe Jiu-Jitsu is for everyone, okay? You can be handicapped and train Jiu-Jitsu. You can be blind. I have friends who are blind in Jiu-Jitsu, but there is one thing that you must have to be in Jiu-Jitsu: willpower. And some people, they give up. They don't have the willpower. Those people will never be black belts, you know? But you have the willpower, you come to the train, you are consistent, you are learning, you are progressing. Of course, maybe you don't compete, you're gonna take 15 years to get to the black belt, maybe 20. And the guy that competes and wins everything, maybe in 5 years. It's the same in the army. The army, if you go to war, you get promoted a lot faster than if you are in peace times. It's normal. So I have this analogy between army and Jiu-Jitsu very clear in my mind. I don't believe that Jiu-Jitsu would be only for the athletes. I think that everyone that has the willpower to come day after day to the gym, at some point they must be graded. The more you repeat, the better you get. You know, don't get the bullshit from Kid Dale. He doesn't know what he's talking about, you know. He's stinky as well. But anyway, doesn't matter. The fact is the guy say you shouldn't drill because of this and that. Come on, it's proven already. You know, like the best guys, they drill a lot, they repeat, and that's how you learn really, you know.
Yeah, Abdullah. Tap. Not too bad for old man, huh?
Yeah.
I told earlier that I don't believe BJJ is for everyone, but I believe in BJJ without borders. You know, like I think BJJ is something to unite people. This is something that I strongly believe. So if I have a group that they are putting religion or politics inside the mat, that's not good at all. You know, like you have your beliefs, keep it to yourself. Doesn't matter you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're Jewish, atheist, Buddhist. It's all good as long as you respect the others. When you start preaching to others what they should do, religious or politically, man, this is not something I want inside my group at all. And that's very clear from the beginning. You know, like we don't want to mix jiu-jitsu with politics, with religion, and that's the reason that this year in Poland we had people from Ukraine and Russia. Those countries are at war, and those guys were perfect harmony inside the group, and with Poles as well. It's not something easy, but we managed to do that because everyone in my group has to have this mentality, you know, like you have to accept the differences. You have to accept that other people are different than you, and you have to understand that and respect that, you know, because jiu-jitsu is about respect. And if you don't respect other people's beliefs, what can you respect?
Say, Shukran, Shabab. See you guys tomorrow.
Atala, man, great speech. He should have been preparing for days for this interview to look smarter than us. Unfortunately for him, he may be smarter, but he doesn't have a free access to the only place on the planet where you can surf in the middle of the desert. Freaking awesome, man. This is Wadi Adventure, a water park very close to Alain, our base camp, which is just near Romanian border. Right in the middle of the desert, the locals have built the biggest surf pool in the world. As we said, jiu-jitsu is a real deal here. So when we called the water park, they have decided to cancel everything for the day. 4 square kilometers water park and a 30 people staff are only on our disposal. I'm not sure if it is because they really like us or because in this country you cannot film or take a picture of a woman in the water, no matter if she is fully dressed ninja style. On several beaches they have tasked me to leave with the camera. Anyway, it's goddamn hot and we have waves, surfs and a private water park in the middle of the desert. Again, this is how we roll.
Don't die in this episode, maybe in the next one.
As we progress on the documentary, you see I'm getting more stripes on my black belt in slavery. At the end, I'm gonna be professional slave.
because he has to shoot, so he cannot really help us here. No?
No, man, when you finish, I'll help you, of course, man.
You help me and you're gonna put yourself in the car by yourself.
Man, I'm 84 kilos, it's a big help for you, big relief.
These are our last hours here in the United Arab Emirates. Tomorrow we'll travel to Oman, the closest country to our base camp. But before that, we have a lot of work to do. Along with our Polish friend Black Belt and absolutely insane guy Karol, we are going to camp tonight, relaxing, shooting some techniques on unusual places, and meeting a man who nearly lost his life because of a jiu-jitsu rivalry. It seems it is going to be an intense night, isn't it?
So we're ready to go camping, east coast of UAE. UAE is not only sand and desert, there is nice landscapes with places you can freedom camping. And we're about to pack here with my friend Karol Migo, the Polish terror, or else known as the human corner, because wherever he touches you, he cuts you. So that's
you mentioned there are no toilets there, and we need this shower. If you want to take a sheet,
no toilets.
You just dig a hole, make a poo, and cover this.
Karol, can you bring my fridge from upstairs if best is finished?
Yes. Who is bestie?
As you can see, we have everything necessary for a nomad trip, including jiu-jitsu mats, which we lose somewhere on the 6th minute of our adventure.
Did you see how did you ride? Your mat was like this.
How you know that?
Because I see now.
There is one mat on the floor.
Yeah, one.
Okay, no problem.
Like this. Look.
So we lost one mat.
Man, you cannot drive like this.
I will not drive like this.
What are we going?
We will need to find the other mat. If it fell in the middle of the street, even we find it, it's gonna be with tires everywhere.
And maybe we go there and someone is already rolling, man.
Yeah. For giving massage in the middle of the street.
Massage, yes.
It has to be somewhere.
It's there.
It's there, our mat, and the motherfucker goes specially into it.
look at the mat.
Now we definitely look like a band of gypsies traveling around the world.
We find out the hard way that the mats are not meant for this ride, so we leave them and ride east. It's a promising beginning of our camping. We are heading to Sharjah, big city in the east where we'll sleep under the stars on the seashore. But first of all, we are about to film a technique right near the highway that goes through the desert.
BJJ Nomad! We do a technique, so should I change clothes?
Fuck you! I told you 10 times, change clothes and let's put the canvas on the ground.
You didn't tell me to put the canvas. Okay, where to put? There, good.
No shoes on the mat, motherfucker. Thank you. And if you want to go in, bow before you go in. It's traditional torture.
Because I am paranoid by nature, I'm a little worried how it looks to have two muscled half-naked men with sunglasses, a Thai girl and a camera in the middle of the desert. I really do not want to stay in prison for sodomy, especially in a Muslim country.
This looks like porn now, really. This looks like porn. Oh, I think we're gonna go to jail, man, even worse. We need to shoot a technique, but we don't have someone to help us.
Hello, good people. What are you doing here?
No, we were just about to shoot the technique. Will you help us?
Of course.
And you're Black Belt.
Yes.
Man, that's amazing
I live by the
coincidence.
key. I always when I...
You live by the key?
Yeah.
Same for us.
By the key, no the key.
No, not the key.
Not the key. So I'm within my opponent's close guard. What I need to be careful here is keep my hips as low as possible and my knees a bit more open, so I have better base. The next thing, I start low my technique. I tried simple other passes and it didn't work. So now what I will do, I'm gonna use my left hand, thumb pointing at me. I'm gonna put my 4 fingers on his lapel and more or less on the clavicle level. Okay, not too low, not too high. So once I grab the lapel, okay, the next thing I'm gonna do, my other hand also pointing towards me, but I'm flexible with that. I can grab also here or here. What I will do, I'm gonna shoot my hand, my left hand, across to the other side on the shoulder. It's like choking him, but at the same time I'm gonna start standing up. So I have my base low, head low, shoot my hand across, step, step. Now I apply pressure on his neck and on his windpipe with my left hand. My right hand is pulling the lapel towards me, and very important, my left foot is gonna push his hips to the other side. There. So once he opens, I just remove everything and walk back. That's the most simple and most effective way to open the closed guard. So one more time. Knees wide open, hips as low as I can, as low as my flexibility allows. And I control. Obviously I'm not with my elbows open because he can move his hips left and right. I close my elbows, head down. I reach out, maybe I need to sneak and look. Grab his lapel, pull it. Grab the other lapel, keep it close to me. Once I'm ready, left hand is gonna shoot the other side with the lapel, and I'm gonna apply pressure on his neck. And I'm gonna start standing up. 1, 2. The most important detail on this technique is how I position my knee, my left knee. So I have my left hand pushing his lapel across and kind of applies the pressure for the choke. My left knee should be pushing his hips inwards like this. Because if I just stay with my base parallel, he goes for the arm lock and I tap, or he goes for the shoulder lock and I get caught. So I need to kill, very important, I need to kill his hip mobility, his hip movement. How is this done? Left foot pushing the same direction my hand is pushing. He opens, I move back. Okay, he does that, I'm fucked because I don't know how to pass this guard. Beleza. Straight out of Poland, Nowa Huta, Krakow. As real as gets.
On our way to Sharjah, we shot several techniques that you will be able to watch throughout the year in our short video series called The Fifth Stripe. But Jiu-Jitsu is a lot more than just a martial art. It's a life path, and sometimes it can get you to some very dangerous places. Let me tell you the story of a man who almost lost his life because of his dedication to BJJ. Meet Jeff.
People like to say, Jiu-Jitsu saved my life. In my case, opening a school of Jiu-Jitsu almost took my life. I almost died for this. I paid the ultimate price, and good thing I'm still alive, so I'm here to tell the story. This was 10 years ago, 2005 of September. I was affiliating with one guy from a gym, and basically I opened my gym up, and on the 30th day of it being open, apparently another group of BJJ guys, I guess they were planning for a while to get rid of me because they had an idea that I wanted to open a gym, and in this particular place there's a lot of politics with Jiu-Jitsu. So I opened my gym. I was thinking, okay, the most these guys would ever probably do is like, hey man, we don't want you teaching, maybe pick a fight with me. But this day in September, I was coming out of my gym, just got done training, I was still covered in sweat, going to my car, and then a van just pulled up, blocked my car, and about 10 to 15 guys came out of the car. I was just like, oh shit, I know exactly what this is. It's like, this is a hit. I was like, fuck, some of them had firearms, most of them had knives and bats and stuff, and pretty much it was an assassination. It was a hit to take me out. So I got stabbed 12 times, and these guys were hitting me with bats and all this stuff, and it was weird. It was like a CQB thing. We actually got in the car and we were fighting inside my car, and there was like 3 guys fighting me with knives, and I was actually, it was weird. It was something like in the Matrix where it was slow motion. I was just paying attention to the blades. So I didn't really look at their faces. It was nighttime, so I wasn't concentrating, okay, I need to see what this guy looks like. It wasn't that. I was concentrating of surviving. So I think maybe Jiu-Jitsu somewhere there helped me, maybe. I still got stabbed several times, I almost died. I had a punctured lung, collapsed lung. I got hit in the liver. They tried to hit me in the femoral artery, which they missed. I would have been gone for sure if they hit me there. But yeah, I'm here right now. I'm very lucky. I believe that, it just wasn't my time to go. I mean, I really thought I was gonna die. I was in the car. These, two guys helped me out. They brought me to the emergency room, and I really thought it was, my time. I was in the car laying down, just bleeding there, and I was telling them, you know what, close my wound here, I'm bleeding here. I could feel the air coming out of my lungs, from the hole in my back. And I was like, shit, man, this is it, I'm gonna die. And I was really scared, and it was just something that I wouldn't want anyone else to go through, because it's a very horrible feeling. And after that, you really realize how valuable life is, and how short life is, and how easy it is to just, one day you're just gone, and then you're like, man, I didn't get to do all those things I wanted to do. I'm gonna die, man, For about 2 years, I mean, after this happened, I had really bad PTSD. I was on a lot of different medications, and I was, I separated myself from all my family. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want anything to do with jiu-jitsu. And I was really mad. I was really angry about everything that happened, because I didn't understand it. And in this particular country where it did happen, it seemed like, there was no justice, because these guys are still out there, After those 2 years, I felt that maybe, all the medication I was on, I was like, man, I don't think this is helping me. I don't think it's helping at all. So what I did is I pretty much just got rid of the medicine cold turkey. I just tried to deal with this issue on my own, and I think it was better without the drugs. I don't think we need the drugs. I think they don't really help you. I think that our mind is stronger than anything else. Well, after about 2 years, I started, seeing some friends. They were still training. They're like, hey man, you need to come back to jiu-jitsu. And I didn't reply to them. I didn't really want to have anything to do with it anymore. And one day, it's just one of those things. I was like, I got off the medication, and I was like, hey, I want to get back into jiu-jitsu. I want to rehabilitate myself naturally, without any drugs, without anything. And I came back slowly, come to the, training once in a while, and pretty much I rehabilitated myself. I've been off medicine for about 8 years now. I don't take any antidepressants or any of these downers that the doctors put me on. I got into firearms training extensively. I trained a lot with pistol, with rifle, and for a couple of years, that's all I was doing. When I wasn't training jiu-jitsu, I was just training extensively with pistol, with all different situations. Training with, some special forces guys, showing me different ideas. I went to all different schools to have, different ideas of what kind of training I could get. And after a couple of years of this, I eventually got, a phone call from a friend. He's like, hey man, you want to work with the UFC, working executive protection? I was like, hey, that's, pretty cool. For sure I would like to do it. So that's when I got my first taste of working in the executive protection field. The first big job we ever did was working with the chairman of UFC. We worked with Lorenzo Fertitta. They put me with Chuck Liddell, which was pretty cool. I was like, oh, I get to work with one of the big names in UFC, and it was a really good experience. After that, I mean, this whole incident that happened with me, I felt like I had some type of, something was compelling me to, like, you want to protect people, and to prevent anything like that from happening to them, what happened to me.
Jeff worked for the UFC for 3.5 years, and then got into the real action as a member of crisis response team for a big company in the United States. Meanwhile, he managed to get his black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Now, he is really a well-rounded warrior, so I asked him if he regrets he didn't start with a different martial art before Jiu-Jitsu, so he could avoid the accident that happened to him a decade ago.
One thing I can guarantee you, no matter who you are and no matter how much skill you have in any martial arts, if you're fighting a group of guys that are trained with the knife, I guarantee you're gonna get cut, and you'll be lucky to leave that situation alive. Because most people that are in a knife fight, right, they end up dead, and that's a statistic. That's very true. So you see guys out there saying that, oh man, I can disarm this guy with a knife or with the gun or whatever, but yeah, I want to see you do it for real. Do it in front of a camera with a compliant adversary. Yeah, for sure you could do it. Do it against a guy that's really trying to kill you. I guarantee you're gonna get cut. If I could have run that day, I would have run. You know, I would have gotten out of there right away if I had the chance, but it just wasn't, that day it didn't happen. I had to pretty much defend myself at all costs, and I was luckily I came out of it alive. Life is just so short. You know, after that I try to stay as humble as possible, you know. I mean, the ego is that thing that just eats inside of you, but if you just try to control that and, you know what, put that aside, it doesn't matter. You know, just try to live your life in the best way possible, being, you know, good to your fellow man. You know, there's no need for us to kill each other. You know, it's bullshit, you know.
In meantime, keep a rifle in your car, just in case.
It's funny you say that. I used to do that. I had a lot of firearms with me after that situation.